And welcome back, everyone, to part 2 of what would be our first session for the Dark Heresy. And we're rejoining our characters now as they're making a trip from the camp towards the seal where the commissar awaits. Now, the trip across the encampment to the foot of the mountains, where the Great Seal cuts off the mines from the surface, it takes them 30 minutes. And as they travel, they see more signs of the fighting, more torn earth, shattered buildings, and the wreckage of unrecognizable equipment. Now, the planet is quite cold, and the wind is razor sharp as it cuts across their path. When they near the end of their walk, the characters spot pockets of miners sitting around small fires made from dung, salvaged wood, and even plastic, which is causing poisonous fumes to fill the air. The miners are all forlorn, sporting an appalling number of defects and deformities, as well as plenty of injuries. Unlike the prisoners within the guard encampment, these folks are bystanders, unfortunates who have just gotten in the way and been forgotten. Now, they're utterly terrified as the acolytes approach, and that's clearly shown by the natures that they're looking at the acolytes with as they turn back to their group. But for now, let's rejoin our characters as they continue their journey.
Look at them guys there, the poor wretches. Left out here in the cold, no hab to go into.
Obviously, they've had a hab to go into. It's just a shame that in pieces around us. Khem, Jake, wait here. I will approach the miners and see if they can give us any more details on the mine.
I'm going to go approach the locals then, see if they can give us any more information before all this happened.
Fair enough. I shall. Oh, sorry.
I'll make a slight muttering about the poisonous fumes coming out of the fire and just say something along the lines of, these things will not kill me nearly as long as these fumes. Pull out an elo stick and light it, and wait for them to finish their business.
As you guys are meandering around in front of the seal, you take note that the seal itself measures 30 meters in diameter and is being held in place with thick clamps that grasp the stone on all sides. And embossed on the center is a great double-headed eagle of the Imperium that seems to stare down at the acolytes as if judging them. Now, scaffolding to the right of the seal leads up to a small post where an attendant can lock or unlock the clamps with a throw of the switch. And here you see the guardsman from earlier finally manning his post. Opening this vault requires the efforts of 20 great hairy monsters indigenous to this world. Now you see their handlers affixing the tethers to the seal and goading them to make the lines taut, ready to open the seal.
Right. At this point, I'm going to be asking obviously the group of refugees, whatever you want to call them right now, if they've seen anything in the past which has been similar to what's happening now on their home world.
Aye.
You're
asking the locals, you said, Wayne?
Yeah, I'm going to speak to the locals.
Sorry, out of character real quick. I'm just frustrated because stupid Skype just put that bar back. So I'm like ducking down right now to try to get in the camera. Sorry, guys. Hopefully that Skype bar will disappear. And again, out of character, if anybody knows how to lock that bar in Skype to make it to where it doesn't pop up and go back down again, moving the cameras, if you can give me any tips on that, it would be greatly appreciated. So anyways, back into character. We've got
come over here.
We've got Jake now approaching some locals, and it's clear that these locals actually helped bring the beasts of burden to the seal. And come on, let me go away. Sorry, I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try
the bar
this.
is a heretic purge.
It is a heretic. It's freaking
It is indeed.
annoying. Please go away.
Let's just continue.
Yeah, okay.
Go away.
Continuing on. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, what would be considered plebs because they've just dragged these beasts of burden to the seal. They look at you, and you don't even have to roll. They just look at you and say, aye, that's a good question, sirrah. Good question. And they just nod. Clearly they don't speak the language
Horrible answer,
primarily.
Kerr.
Good question, sirrah.
I will approach the miners and I will ask them if there's anything we need to be aware of other than the said problems in the mine, shafts, props, supports, anything that's dangerous.
Well, they pulled us. Excuse me. You can clearly see that this is the foreman, but he's extremely shaken. They pulled us out before everything got too crazy. I mean, the rebels came in shouting to leave, and we weren't gonna hesitate. But there was some ground tremors going on, so it's questionable what exactly the foundation of the mine is going to be left in as you guys go in. I just recommend being extremely careful. The depths are a ways through the mines, and the way to get to them is definitely hazardous. Just please, and he turns back
what
again.
What do you mine here?
Just he coughs. Just please find our missing miners.
What do you mine here, for Christ's sake? What do you mine in the Emperor's name?
We mine all manners of things, fuel and minerals and all sorts of.
You mine promethium here, by any chance?
To be honest, good sir, we're just put in there and told to dig. I don't know.
Garro, we need to check this out. If there's promethium in there, we need to make sure nothing sets off them vents while we're in there. Either that or we set them off before we go in.
If they are mining promethium here, then I have no chance. I cannot use the Emperor's light. I must use the Emperor's mercy.
Yes, we need to find this out then before we go in, because if there is promethium in there, we need to either detonate it before we go in, or we need to go close quarters only, because we cannot risk detonating the
You see the
promethium.
commissar approaching as the handlers of the beasts of burden are ready to pull the seal loose.
Commissar, by any chance are they mining promethium in there, or any fuel substance at all?
I do believe so, sir. We do have some stockpile actually in there as well. Unfortunately, during all the commotion, I don't believe it was all able to be brought out to the surface, so you'll definitely want to be careful.
Garro, should we send somebody in there to detonate this before we go in there?
It's way too far in. Now you see 4 more grizzled garmen, armed with las guns, standing at the ready as the massive beasts, covered in hairy, heavy brown fur and equipped with 4 long trunks, are herded into position, harness attached to their great bulk. Once the harnesses are in place, the commissar gives the signal to his men, who turn towards the seal and take aim. The commissar then gestures to the guardsman from earlier, who throws the switch, and with a tremendous noise, the clamps release from the stone, signaling the beast handlers to coax their creatures forward. As the seal pulls away from the wall, moving 1 centimeter by 1 grueling centimeter, a foul yellow gas spills out around the seal, pouring out from the interior and reeking of spoiled meat. Moments after the spew begins, it stops. The commissar stands ready, a grim smile spread across his lips, his hand hovering near the bolter at his side. After nearly 30 minutes of straining, the beasts open the seal wide enough to let you through. The commissar turns to you and gestures for you to enter, offering one last piece of advice. May the God Emperor watch over you.
I turn to the commissar and say to him, given that I haven't had much chance to encounter promethium or much knowledge about promethium, can it be set off from sparks from a gun? Like being fired?
Khem, my friend, I use promethium all the time in my flamer, the Emperor's Light. Raw promethium is very volatile. However, las guns will not set it off. What will set it off is flamers and anything with hot shots. Though, unfortunately, it means Jake's las rifle, his long las, would set it off with no problems at all. Raw, unrefined promethium is dangerous, but only in extreme heat.
Yes. My standard issue las will be fine. Your shotgun will be fine, my friend.
Although this will mean I can only use the Emperor's Mercy, at which point I will draw my chainsword and grip it in my right hand.
You can see that the guardsmen guarding the seal are clearly getting a little nervous with how long it's been open, and the commissar is kind of gesturing for you to get a move on.
Before we go in, I pull out my straight silver and add it to the end of my rifle like a bayonet, because we are. And then I turn around and say, "We're going in close, lads. Arm up."
I will. Sorry. Cool. I will stand up and, bellowing the name of the Emperor and in his glory, I will stride forward into the mine.
I shall follow closely, shouting, "For the Emperor!"
So Iacton goes in with Jake close behind and Khem.
I'll follow up at the rear.
All right.
With my shotgun drill.
As you all enter in, you hear the slow groaning of the seal gradually being put back into place, and you can see that you're glad you have the crudely drawn map that the commissar gave you of this place, because it's clear that without it, and without extensive familiarity with the layout, you could become forever lost in the depths of this place. Rather than providing a actual map, you're just going to and this is kind of as GM, I'm just telling you that you're following the map. Through this part of the mines, you're following the map. There's no other route you can take through this version of this part of the story, at least until you reach the depths. So you guys are in the mines. You're going to follow. The seal is sliding shut behind you.
I'm also going to take out one of my torches and hook it up to my las gun and wire it in.
Now, with this being a official mine, there are lights strung up. This part of the mine is actually fairly well lit. You're not by any means going into the dark right now.
Oh no, I'm putting it on, going out of obviously Garro for a second, putting it on, but not turning it on, just so it's wired in, so I can get it ready for when I need it.
You've got your silver and your torch
hooked up to the las gun, so I can use it at will if I need to. Save me fumbling around later.
Sure. So, as you're in the mines now, you're going through, and in the days since the tunnels were sealed up, you can tell that tremors have caused some power issues. The lights do flicker every once in a while, but it is lit. So you do have a ways to go through the mines to get to the depths. Now so are you guys, your guys are going forward, right?
I suggest, by the way, Killjoy and Garro, you head up the front. I've got longer range than you. You can use your closer range weapons to your advantage, especially a shotgun in this close confined. That'll be excellent there, Killjoy.
I agree, and ready my shotgun aiming and slowly head forward.
I shall cover you.
Jake.
Yes, Garro.
Did you bring your auspex?
I'm sorry, going out of game for a second. I'm just going to quickly check my character sheet because I'm sure I do actually have one.
Haven't what?
Auspex.
Yes, I have got my auspex. Good sir. Here, I'll pass it to you so I don't have to use both hands on this rifle while you've only got a one-handed weapon available, sir.
Very well. I will take the auspex from Jake and I will activate it, scanning for any problems in the nearby area.
Okay. As you scan, you can see that there is absolutely no signs of life in the near vicinity. Not even any signs of struggle as of this point. Now, that is also keeping in mind that based on the commissar's briefing, most of the conflict took place actually in the depths or near the depths.
Yes. Lead on, Killjoy. Garro, somewhere in the middle, I hope. Use your auspex and I shall cover you.
As I will walk in the middle and I shall scan every 20 meters.
All right, now as you guys go, you get to the what's clearly labeled as subsection 5, and this tunnel widens a bit, and painted over top is a steel door that says just that, subsection 5. Now there's a glass window set at eye level, and standing the inside of it and obscuring what lays beyond is a single bloody handprint. The door is firmly locked and resists attempts at opening it. But there must be another way.
Garro, can you detect where there's another entrance on the auspex at all?
Oh, very well. I shall use the auspex, and I believe that would be a perception test.
Yep.
That's why I will roll that now. Eight, and perception is 4. That's 12.
What is your perception?
45.
Okay, and that's okay. So you clearly
But he's got a
passed your
perception bonus
perception
of 4,
check.
so yeah.
You're looking at the door into subsection 5, and based on what you're seeing when you scan, you can see that there are a couple of vents that are clearly meant purely for airflow that pass to the side of each door into the cave wall, but clearly appear to then curve back around into subsection 5 just to allow some of that airflow. These vents are not very large, but at the same time, as you're investigating the door, you can see that it's not in full repair. It's got some damage to it. It may be able to be knocked loose if the right type of force is used.
Right.
I believe this may be a job for you, Jake.
Yes, I do as well. Before we do, though, I'll check around with these being mine, see if we can find a las cutter anywhere. Make it a bit easier to go through as if we can. I'm going to search around the local area to see if there's a las cutter anywhere.
You start wandering around. There are a couple of offshoots deeper into the mine, but as you get to them, they're not lit, and you can just kind of see tunnels dropping into deeper into the mines. And as you've walked in this far, there hasn't been any sign of any equipment or anything left behind.
I turn to Garro and say, if this is meant to be a working mine, where's all the equipment gone? This is a bit disturbing, but we've got to get through this door.
We need to check that subsection.
Khem, get ready. Pull your shotgun out. I'm going to deal with this door now.
I will activate the Emperor's Mercy. By pressing the activation stud, the chainsaw revs up, and it can be heard for over 500 meters away. It reverbs around the room.
I check first to see if the door is actually a pull or a push style door from where I am standing.
The door is clearly meant to slide to the left and to the right into the recessed brackets on either side.
Right. I grab as hard as I can and physically pull as hard as I can on the left-hand side door to try and get that, bracing my foot on the handheld of the right-hand door. Yeah. God, this is my worst stat as well. This is the hilarious part.
And you have minus 20 to that, so that's 72. And what is your strength?
That's a fail, I can tell you that now. Yeah, that's 39's my strength.
Okay. So you pull on the door, and as you're pulling on the door, you kind of feel a muscle kind of pull a little bit in your right arm before you finally release the door without it budging at all.
Guys, this is going to take either all of us, or I'm going to have to use an explosive, which I do not want to do in the confined space of here with Prometheus.
I step forward and attempt to open the door myself.
Okay, do a strength check.
Oh,
So that's
my
minus
strength
20, so
is
54.
30.
So you get up there and you're pulling on the door, pushing on the door, doing every which way that you can without the door budging. And next thing you know, you feel a pull in your quad as you start to limp away from the door.
I shall now try to open the door. There we go. Oh God.
70, and what is your strength?
36. Curse you, foul door!
As Iacton goes up to the door, he thinks the right way to try to open it is with his fist. And he starts pummeling the door with both fists before he finally walks away with both fists bloody and his hands hanging limp to his sides. The door is clearly not going to budge by mere physical means.
Guys, get behind some cover.
I look at the door, lower my head and sigh, then say, maybe these vents might not be a bad idea, considering the explosive option.
So as you
what do you guys
approach
think?
the vent, do an awareness check on the vents.
Awareness check, okay. Who's doing that?
That's Cam, because he said it.
Okay.
Right, what have we roll? Another 100?
Yeah.
Yeah.
45, and my awareness is... Was it? I'm looking for my awareness or my perception?
It'd be
oh,
perception.
39.
Yeah.
So you've got a 45 on the roll, so you fail. You're looking at the vent. It just looks like a vent. You think that there might be some sort of promise to the vents being opened.
Sorry guys, I'm coming out of character slightly. We're being defeated here by a fucking door.
I look at the vent and then realise that I had false hope and realised that the only way through is going to be through explosives.
Guys,
So I take a lengthy retreat back.
get back for the door and I'll place a grenade in between both doors, basically. And tell everyone to get back.
Okay, I will retreat at least 100 metres away from Wayne.
I'm going to set the fuse for a long fuse
From Jake.
and run. After I've placed this grenade in between both doors to try and blow them open.
Okay, you do
I will
remember
also roll in
seeing
the direction.
the branch off from the main pathway about 10 meters back on the left side. You can always take shelter in that branch of the mine.
I will duck into that branch.
I'll set the grenade set it for a long fuse and duck in as well.
I will try to squeeze in if the room would allow it.
It's another corridor that just leads down into darkness. There's plenty of space. But it's definitely pitch black, and you can hear dripping water down that way. Clearly, it's flooded.
I will activate my glow globe at this point, which is like a large torch.
Okay.
And I will hold it up into the air to see if there's anything down here. While I'm stood here.
So
I will get up.
Go ahead and roll your ballistics check for me, Wayne.
Oh, ballistics check, okay.
Yeah.
Oh dear God.
Okay, this is going to be fun. Especially how we're rolling at the moment. Oh, right.
Fuck's sake.
Shortest campaign in history.
Well, the worst part is, that's a critical failure.
That's a crit failure. He's just blowing himself up in the face.
As the grenade explodes, you can basically hear that it clearly went off, but then you hear a tremor up above, and a cave-in happens in front of the door. As you look around, you're very thankful you set that long fuse, because about 5 meters away from the door, there was collapse, and stones litter the ground. The door, however, being able to peer over the cave-in, you can see that it was blown ajar.
I turn
But
to
it's going to
the
take
rest
some
of the
doing
group.
to move this cave-in out of the way.
I turn to the rest of the group and say, well, we've got two options. We have a tunnel behind us, see where this leads. Bearing in mind it's dark and it's dripping, possibly a fuel leak.
I think we should stay away.
Or we could, which could mean more failure, or we can try moving all this rubble and this cave in and proceed through.
I think we should very carefully try and sift through this and get through the door for now.
No, I believe we should check out the tunnel first, the branch line.
Do you want to start checking it out slowly and get in touch with us on the combi while we try and clear this, because this is going to take a while?
Alright, I shall leave Khem and Jake there, and I will head down the branch tunnel with my glow globe held high in my left hand and my chainsword held in my right.
I will join only on the sole proviso, because it could take some time and I'd rather be safe in the knowledge that... I'm trying to remember your character name now.
Iacton.
Garro, Iacton Garro, is safe. We know that Jake will have no problems moving this rubble. Might take him a little bit longer, but I reckon that would be a more wise option.
So,
I'm
Kim,
going to get-
you're going with Iacton?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Jake, you're going to be sifting through the rubble?
Yeah, I'm going to try and clear a path through to the door properly.
Okay, it looks like it's probably going to take you about 30 minutes or so to be able to clear this rubble. So while you're working on that, we're going to follow Iacton and Kim down the dark passageway. And as you guys start making your way down that way, you do start to smell some noxious fumes, and the dripping water gets closer and closer as you all of a sudden reach the flooded tunnel. It definitely, the passage enters a sharp decline until it descends into a pool of brackish water with glistening oil on the surface.
I lower my shotgun and hint towards Garro that this might not be a wise idea going through that. I ask for his opinion on it.
It looks bad. I do not wish to go swimming in what obviously looks like some sort of oil or fuel. I will activate the microbead. Jake, we're going to head back. This passageway seems unpassable. We are on our way back to you now. I will turn and head back the way we've just come.
I will join.
Okay, it had
Yeah,
taken you
received,
guys
Garro.
about 15 minutes to reach the flooded section of the tunnel. So it's going to take you about that 15 minutes to get back. As you arrive, you find Jake moving the last of the stones away from the door. Clearly he is tired and sweating profusely, but he does have the door cleared, and it's ready. It can be easily slid open now as the explosion widened the bracket on the left side so that that door slides easily.
Right, guys, I think we should sit down for a couple of minutes. Let me get my strength back, just because that's a lot of work.
I look at Jake and see how exhausted he is and go, that's no problem. I sit down, pull out an elo stick, and just before I light it, I remember what the commissar told me about all the flammable stuff, and
I'm going to reach
put my elo
across,
stick.
and slap Killjoy across the face for pulling out the elo stick in his space.
I sit down, look at the elo stick on the floor, and just make a big sad face.
And call him an idiot and say, "What are you doing? This place has got Promethean fuel in it. Are you trying to blow us all up?" Well, more so than I nearly did.
Before I sit down, I will turn off the chainsword and then sit down safely.
It continues to reverberate through the tunnels and now through the ajar door until the last spinning of the sword ceases.
I'm just going to sit here and rest up until my guy's not completely worn out for a bit.
Okay, you're going to have to consume some of your water. Maybe part of a ration.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll consume a bit of water, splash a bit on my face, sort of thing, to get rid of all the sweat and such.
Okay,
I will take a mouthful of water.
I will stand and take guard by the open door with my shotgun drawn.
Okay, it's not really open yet. It's just loose. You can see that it can easily be slid now as the bracket's been widened on the left side. You can be slid into the cave wall to enter into the room where you still see the glass now in the door has been laced with cracks, but you still see the bloody handprint on the other side. Sat there waiting for you to enter.
I motion to my party. Do you think it's time for us to continue now?
We have rested for half an hour, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Around 30 minutes, yeah.
I would say that you guys are recovered from both trying to force the door open, and Wayne may be a little fatigued, but not enough to affect his performance. The water and the ration really resubstantiated his level of energy, and he's ready to move on.
Right, guys, I'm feeling much better after all that exertion. Let's head on, shall we? Same formation.
Okay, I agree. I will turn off the glow globe and restore it into my backpack and pull out the Auspex once more and reactivate it and start scanning. I will immediately do a scan of the area.
Now that the door is ajar, you are able to get a more legitimate scan from the other side. It's clear that there is some sort of biological material on the other side of the door, but nothing seems to be moving.
Right. I will. Jake, Khem, get your weapons at the ready. I will activate the chainsaw. I shall open the door. Ready, guys?
As you activate the chainsword, you still have your scan up, and still nothing appears to move as the noise activates.
Okay, I shall open the door. Wait, Khem and Jake, you rush in and take positions just on the other side. I think that'd be the best way to go.
When he opens the door, Khem, I'm going to rush into the left. You take the right-hand side.
I would like to suggest why not you open the door and me and Garro will run in since we are close range. If there's immediate danger on the other side of the door, that might be a more wise idea.
I will leave it in your hands. You are the veterans of war.
Ready up then, lads. And I grab the door.
Okay,
count down.
Stand ready.
3.
I will go left, Khem.
I will
2.
go right.
1. I pull the door sharply.
I shall run into the chamber and immediately head left.
All right. As you enter the chamber, you see a dozen corpses litter the floor. Clearly all bodies of miners, each sporting a strange mutation, be it an extra eye, a vestigial hand growing from the abdomen, and so on. But they're all clearly dead.
I'm going to brace myself against the door and aim down the tunnel.
Okay, as you're looking down the tunnel, you can see that another tunnel intersects with the main passage. The rails run along its length, but where they would pass through the passage, they are bent and twisted as if some monstrous thing tore them up and twisted them in knots.
I don't like the look of this. I will investigate the corpses.
I shall cover you, my friend.
I shall walk forward and turn over the nearest corpse.
You can see that he clearly had the mutation for a little while, and you can see blood on his face as if not from a wound, but rather inflicting a wound. But other than that, there's no signs of trauma. He's clearly just died.
I will search the corpse.
As you search the corpse, you can tell that with the tattering of his clothes, he's lost most of his possessions. The clothes that he does have, again, they're tattered and worn, and everything he's got is covered in filth and gore, and you do find a las cutter, but it is broken.
Very well. Shall we head forwards, guys?
Yes.
Go in deeper.
I head over to Garro and look at the bodies and just make a comment along the lines of, in all my times of killing heretics in gangs, I have never seen anything quite fucked up like this.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
But
Very
I'm
well.
anxious to kill things.
Alright, so you guys are continuing along the path set before you?
Yes.
Yep, we'll go forward.
Okay. Abruptly, the passageway comes to an end, and the floor drops away into yawning darkness.
I will look for somewhere I can secure my rope to.
Okay.
I shall take one of the torches out my pack, turn it on and flash it down.
There's not anywhere clearly meant to have a rope tied to. This is just purely the cave with the slicker walls on each side from years of having been exposed and sweating, and there's slick walls. There's no rafters close to this breach in the floor, and it's clear that this does lead down to the depths of which you seek, however.
One of us is going to have to climb down.
I
Yes.
pull out my torch and take a look around my surrounding areas.
Okay, as you
See if
shine
there's
the
anything I can
torch
find.
down, you see that about 3 meters down, the passage does continue. Obviously, a tremor caused a section of the tunnels to fall into an air pocket that, however, is several kilometers down. So, reaching the passageway, it's going to appear to definitely require some climbing, but getting to the passageway instead of falling a number of kilometers is going to take some doing.
Is there anywhere I can throw my grapple onto down there and climb down that way?
Again, the walls seem extremely slick. How long is the rope that's attached to your grapple?
It doesn't actually say, it just says grapple in line.
Okay, I'm going to give you 15 meters then, because that's what seems to be the generic. So obviously you've got 3 meters you have to go down. So you've got plenty of rope for that. However, the grapple, with the walls again being slick, and there are no supports or anything this close to the collapse, you don't really have a good place to attach a grapple.
Stupid question then. What if we go back, grab a lot of the heavier pieces of rubble and use that to stabilise our ropes? That might be a good idea, guys.
It might be worth two of us going back and both of us bringing it to save energy and strength.
Yeah.
Be easier if two of us grab it.
Because there's plenty of rubble back
downtime
there
for
from the
the mission.
collapse. I'm sure it's going to be able to support our weight if we use enough of it.
Well, what we're standing on also support the weight, and not cause us to fall down the hard way.
When you look down with your torch, you can see that you do have a solid wall below you leading down, so your floor does appear to be solid when you were looking down with your torch.
How wide is the gap?
The gap
How wide is the
is
hole?
about 5 meters across. There's just the narrow path about 3 meters down that you can climb down to get on to where the pathway continues. The other part of the cave, again, has fallen into an air pocket that leads to a deathly fall.
It might be worth us trying to get to that path to walk down then.
I reckon so.
Yeah.
Unless we have something sturdy enough, like using Jake and using him as our sturdy weight to go down. I can't see a way to do that.
Right, I have a plan. Jake, I will
Yes.
give you the rope. I will tie it to myself and I will jump the hole. You and Khem brace me.
Before we do that, how far back to the door was it,
It's
roughly?
only about 5 minutes.
No, in length.
How far in
Distance.
distance? Yeah.
It's about 120 meters.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
out the question.
We've
Yeah.
got 45 meters of rope at the most.
I reckon there's
Yeah.
nothing stable that we can tie the rope to.
Right, then, yes, if we both brace then with you on the rope, then, Garro, we should be able to lower you down.
I have one question before we go through this plan. Garro, once you're down there, how do you propose to get back up?
We'll just pull them up, we need to.
You can pull me up. I will take a reading with the Auspex and a quick look around with the globe and with the light. If I can see anything that can help us out, great. If not, you pull me back up and we shall try a different route.
Fair enough.
I shall give my rope to Khem and Jake, and I shall tie my end around my waist, and I will attempt to climb down.
Okay, you're going to need to do a climb test, which is going to be strength.
Agility.
Or
Strength.
we could just lower him down. With me and Jake.
Yeah, you both
Well,
would need to do a strength check.
Wouldn't it be easier if I get lowered down?
I
So I have a higher agility.
Okay, if you want to go,
As
go
the
for it, Khem.
Iacton is tied off, can you do an awareness check for me real quick? Okay, what's your perception?
49, 45.
Okay, I'm going to give you plus 20 on this. It's pretty easy to see. As you've tied yourself off and you're looking at your path down the 3 meters, you can clearly see that beneath you, the sheer, while it is a sheer wall, you can see that there are plenty of handholds.
I will attempt to climb down then.
I shall brace and hold the other end of the rope.
Okay, go ahead and do that
Yep.
climb test for me then. And because you are aware of the handholds, you're going to get plus 20 to your strength
Okay.
check to help you.
23, agility is 38.
That was a strength check. What's your strength? You just have to have the strength to hold the holds.
Strength 36.
Okay, so you got a 3 because of the 20 assistance. So without any trouble, tied off, you see the handholds in the wall clearly as you climb down and make it onto the non-collapsed part of the passageway. It's very narrow, but you're able to shuffle across into the 5 meter, across the 5 meter gap to where the passageway continues.
Okay, I raise the glow. I put the Auspex down into my backpack and take out the globe and activate it.
Okay.
This should give me a light around me.
You can see that as you turn and look, it's a chamber. It's a vast chamber, the ceiling of which extends nearly 30 meters overhead. Great columns, 3 meters in diameter, spaced about 5 meters apart. They extend from the floor and up into the darkness, supporting the roof of this room. Crisscrossing the floor are numerous tracks that seem to travel in utterly random ways, and following them can lead back on themselves or nowhere at all.
Right.
I message Garro over my comm unit and ask him what does he see.
I relay the information of the columns and the 30-foot high ceiling and the traps that are going randomly around. I firmly believe the guys should head down themselves.
Right. Killjoy, you head down, mate. I'll brace here and hold you up. Garro, he's going to be coming down.
All right, do
By
a
the
climb
same
check.
thing you have.
For me there,
I
Kim.
will. I shall wait for him. I will head to the gap to see if I am able to catch him if he falls.
And I have 30 strength.
Okay, you
Nice.
clearly are able to easily find the handholds that Iacton used to descend, and you
Can
easily
I
make.
backflip down?
No.
I don't. That would take an agility test as well, and a fate point. No, you easily climb down and make your way to the narrow bit of uncollapsed passageway, and make it along over to Iacton and where he is looking in at this vast chamber.
I will get out my electronic torch again and shine it up to where Jake is. to ensure him coming down safely.
Guys, grab this. I dropped down the end of my grapple to him and tell them to hold on to it tightly. Both of them.
Okay.
I assume the rope is tied to you.
Yes, it is. It's actually a little belt thing. I can actually push a button and it drags me back into it, so I can actually just jump off and wheel myself in.
Do a ballistics check for me real quick, Wayne.
Yep, of course.
Gosh, he's going to shoot me in the stomach.
If you stick me in the leg, you're dead.
Yeah.
Holy Christ. What's with these rolls?
What's your ballistics?
It's 45.
Okay, you get a +10 on that. So your grappling hook, as you try to swing it and then kind of toss it across the way, it just barely catches the top of the passageway that they're standing in and falls down into darkness, still tied around your waist. It's hanging into the darkness.
I'll just keep trying until I get it, which is probably going to take a while at this rate.
I would suggest to Jake, why not putting the rope around one of the bars and climbing down the ladder, because I'm sure that you will pass climbing down
bars?
the ladder.
The
Wasn't there
handhelds.
railings or bars or something?
No, it's just handholds in the wall, like just rock
Yeah.
handholds.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing to
I thought there were
attach it to.
railings going along the side of the
No, but
walkway
you do
where we
see
were.
as his rope is hanging down, it does come pretty close to that non-collapsed portion of the pathway.
Guys, just grab the end of this thing.
If I was to grab the end of it, would I have to make an agility test?
Yeah, do an agility test.
Okay. Another 100. Oh, fuck. My agility is 40.
Okay, that's good enough. You've got help, and you're able to reach across and get the rope, and you do almost slip. Your foot kind of slips off the ledge, but you have the rope. All of a sudden, Jake feels a tug on the rope, but he's thankfully enough got his feet situated properly, so you're able to catch yourself and keep yourself on the ledge to get the rope and pull yourself back across to where Iacton is.
Right, have you guys got this?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, and then I'll
Yep.
attempt to climb down. I've just got that extra safety net now. I've got that on.
Okay, go ahead and do climb test for me. It's going to be a strength check.
Yeah.
And you've got +30 since you have your allies down below to help you.
There we go. I've easily passed that.
Okay.
Then.
You've all made it down. You're all now looking in at this vast chamber.
Wow, I was expecting a critical failure there. Sorry to go slightly out.
It would have been interesting. Trust me, the alternative of making it across was not a pleasant one.
No, I kind of thought that's why I was using grapple as well. Anyway, back into character.
I turn around with my shotgun in one hand and my torch in the other and point it down into the room where Garro had put his little orb of light thingy.
My globe.
Okay.
Go, that
Back
thing.
to grapple as well. And pull out my las gun again.
I untie myself from the rope and hand it back to Jake.
I will also remove the rope from around my waist and restow it back in my backpack.
You notice based on the crude drawing that you received from the commissar, it ends here, and you are now in the depths.
Guys, formation. Let's be careful here. We don't want any of us to get killed on the first mission.
Okay, no problems.
I motion towards Garro and tell him to keep a very good close eye on his radar thing.
I will take the Auspex back out of my backpack, leaving the Go Globe where it is on the floor, and I will make a perception check through the Auspex to see if I can see anything nearby.
Okay.
It obviously fails.
The room is just
You
so
are as
vast,
blind
and
as
with
a
the ceiling being 30 meters overhead, you just clearly don't see anything other than columns and the few tracks in the dust that don't seem to lead anywhere. You don't get any signals of any sort of biological threat here. Clearly, you just know it's a huge room.
Okay. Shall we move forward then?
Let us go, my friends.
I will leave the glow globe by the entrance to where we climb down, so if we have to come back this way in a hurry, we will have a bit of light to move by.
Okay.
I turn around to Jake and ask if he would, since he'll be at the back, would he like to use my torch to use that, so I can keep 2 hands on my shotgun to keep Garro covered.
I shall activate my rifle-mounted torch.
And I shall put my torch back into my backpack.
Okay.
Okay, let's
so you
move
guys
forward.
Are heading forward through
Go on.
the chamber. Okay.
Yes,
Very
we
slow.
go.
As you get through the chamber, you've walked about 50 meters, and you kind of see a mirror image of the side of the chamber that you entered in, with a passage continuing on. However, about 3 meters into the passage, the torch doesn't seem to be revealing the floor.
I
turn
will.
to the team and say, this could be a problem. Can we see how far this supposed gap would be?
As you approach the gap, you can tell that a severe tremor, obviously the tremor that probably caused the passage to fall away in the first place, it caused a wide crack to appear in the floor, and it tore open the ground, creating a gap too wide to simply step across. So you're
Would
going to
it
have.
be-
You can see that it's only about a meter to the other side.
Is there
I'm
anything on the floor by any chance?
It looks just
Any
like the
braces or
other
anything?
end. There's no sort of supports at this part in the chamber. The columns in the massive chamber behind are massive, but there's just not any close enough to do anything to. The closest column is about 25 meters away.
Alright.
I motion to Jake and Garro and say, if do you think, since this is only a meter, would I be able to jump it and
Yeah, you
pull
should be
you
able
guys
to. I'll
across or something?
tie you off, just in case, sort of thing. If Garro, you want to also brace, just in case he falls.
Very well, I shall brace myself in case he does fall.
And we'll tie him off to some roping around us, sort of thing, so he can't fall to his doom.
Okay.
Okay. I need you, who's going to try to jump across?
Me.
I need a strength check.
Strength.
That'll
okay.
be agility, wouldn't it?
What is your
I would have
strength?
thought my strength is 30.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't see I rolled that bad.
You're tied off. As you attempt to jump, you stumble right before the jump and slide into the gap.
Oh, God.
You're tied off to where the rope left up. How far down the rope are you holding? I need to know, like, where on the rope, how far in are you securing him?
I'm
About
securing
halfway.
him. I'm securing him about 6 meters along the rope,
Okay.
which gives him a meter to jump across.
Okay, so he falls into the gap, bangs against the wall. I need you to roll a 1d10 and add 5 to that.
Okay,
1d10. Oh,
that's me. Yes.
No, that's for Kim. Sorry, he's fallen
all
and
right.
hit the wall. I was just trying to decide if
One-
he was hitting the wall or the ground.
A roll a 1d10 plus.
Plus 5.
Five.
Nice.
Okay, that's how much damage you've
I'm
taken.
not sure if that's. I was
Which
gonna say,
is
I didn't think that
basically,
was
Mark.
I mean, yeah.
How much damage did he take?
1 wound, is it?
Oh,
hmm
stupid
You've taken
question.
1 wound. Oh.
What is your wounds count? Your armor count? How much? What I need to know what your physical build is, please.
My physical build?
Yes.
As in his armor or his actual build?
His wounds count. His hit points, basically.
Well, we don't have that. It's just the bar at the bottom right of the character sheets, mate.
Right. So I
Yeah.
need to know like what. Let me just open up your
It-
character sheet. Hang on.
You have on the character sheets. You have 16 wounds and 16 critical wounds. And for every
Yeah, you have
every
16, that's-
wounds.
That's what I'm after. Okay. So you've basically taken 2 wounds.
Alright, I'll put down 2 wounds. And where are these wounds, might I ask?
Underneath where your
Well-
armor is displayed, you have checkboxes. So
Yeah.
I
You
like
have
to-
two.
Oh, no, I meant where on my body have I taken these wounds? And
Oh, I got you. As you swung down, as you fell into the gap and the rope caught you, it was tied kind of haphazardly around your waist. And so it pulled in on your right side and wounded your side. And then also hitting the wall wounded your left leg.
Alright. Would this impact my movement or anything
Yes.
severely? Or alright.
Not they're
Um,
not critical wounds. You'll move a little slower,
but
but
not
not too
severely.
not severely, no.
I just lean over slightly and just shout, "Dumbass!" while pulling him back up.
I shout up to my party and say, guys, if we make it back to the quartermaster, I think I need to consider getting some new shoes or boots because I just keep falling on these. It's not fun. And my side is killing me and my fucking leg.
At
It
least
is
you were
obvious
tied
the
off to
Emperor
a
was
rope.
not with you today.
Right, since I'm just gonna tie myself up properly and say, guys, I'm gonna take a running jump now. Just hold on. After
Alright,
pulling
I'll-
it back up.
I will hold him
Wait.
6 meters onto the rope as well, like I did for Khem.
I shall also hold some other rope as well, just behind
Yeah.
Okay,
Garro.
go for it. You've got plus 20 to this. Just didn't seem
Yeah.
to help
Strength
them at
test
all.
is it again?
Yeah. Strengthen your legs.
I think I pass.
All right.
Yeah.
Jake makes a run for it and jumps and lands with no trouble on the other side.
Does some ballerina moves as he does it. It looks
I-
fucking
I could
glorious.
forward flip while doing it and land it and stick it. Apparently.
That would take agility as well.
I just look and hang my head in shame.
I just turn around and say, "No, you see, that's how you do it. Now we've got a rope tied to us. Just get your ass across."
I will turn to Khem and I will say, you should have had the blessing of the Emperor before we started, as I gave that choice to Jake.
The Elo stick was worth it.
Yeah, that was a really good roll of 20. Now, are you guys jumping across then as well? You've got plus 40 to the roll now. You still have to make the strength checks, though.
Yep, I shall jump across.
I shall secure the rope.
Okay.
Oh wait, does Jake have the rope on his end?
Yeah, he's
Yes,
got it
indeed, but
tied
we've
off.
got the other hand. So
Ah, okay.
with you holding the other end of the rope, I will basically use the get my rope and tie it off and use it as a line, and then as I jump across, it will use a line in between.
Like a
So
zip
if I do
cord.
fall, if I do fall, then it's held on the line with you two holding it tight.
Yes.
Okay, make your
So-
roll.
I 65,
Plus 40, 25. What's your strength?
36.
Okay.
No problem.
You make it across. No problem. Now both of
Okay.
you are on the other side, and Kim
Now
is
your
left
turn,
to try
dumbass.
again.
Now we shall brace the rope.
He
ready
only gets
for...
you get plus 30 on this roll since you don't have somebody on both sides of the jump.
Okay.
I feel, Jake, we should have let Khem go first.
Oh, for
I think you should have.
What is your strength?
It doesn't. 30.
Oh, as he tries to jump again, he stumbles.
as
This
he goes
time,
to stumble, I'll sharp tug just
okay, I
drag
need
his
you to
ass
roll.
over if I can.
I need you to roll a 1d10. We're gonna add 2 to it this time, so that's 7. So you're gonna take another wound
One.
as you fall in, And obviously with the rope being on the other side this time, you swing across the gap and you bang your right knee right into the wall. Pretty hard.
I just look at him and just shake my head and go, God, Emperor, damn it!
As Jake pulls me up, I turn to the guys, lower my head in shame, and I go, with a sore leg and a sore knee and a fucked waist, I think it's about time I stop trying to make these jumps.
You see,
I'm
if you
clearly
wasn't
not up to it.
smoking these EHO sticks, you'd have had the fitness to do it. Now stop it, you daft sod, and smack him around the head quickly and continue on.
I'd like him to make a melee skill check to see if I dodge out of the way of the slap.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Alright. Try and dodge, are you? Okay.
You have to do one as well. It's a counter test. See which one of you succeeds the most wins. So
D10 or D100?
Yeah, 100 this is.
yeah, D100. Basically,
40.
okay, you miss. Khem clearly sees it coming and takes a step back, almost stepping back into the gap.
just
But thankfully, he's got at least that much awareness about him not to do that.
By the way, Khem, if you fall again, I'm not going to save your ass next time. You might have had enough of that.
All right, so you're all on the other side of the gap, and you've made it into what appears to possibly have been only being held back by that gap. You start to see so a little bit of signs of combat. Basically, you see some scrapes, some blood going down. You start to see some las burns on the walls, and you start to hear some noise from further down.
Guys, let's continue on. We can hear something. Let's go kill these heretic scumbags and get it over and done with.
I will ready my weapon.
I
Yeah,
brush the dirt off of my knee and get out my shotgun again.
I
And,
shall show them my rifle.
and I go behind Garro this time, given the fact I'm a little slower.
So through a lot of this area, you can see that these tunnels were excavated by the mere use of some sonic drills. And so the work is sloppy, and the walls are anything but smooth. Filthy grease seems to ooze from the cracks, and bright orange centipedes scuttle in and out of the gaps. The corridors and the rooms all appear to be about 2 meters tall, and the same slippery slime is dripping onto the floor, gathering in gruesome, awful-smelling puddles. Thick steel beams support the ceiling in places, and all of these bear perma-lamps, though only a few are working, shedding a peculiar green light all around them.
Mm-hmm.
I sense the stench of corruption here. I will take a check with the Auspex to see if anything is around.
Okay. You can tell using the Auspex that the air here is extremely noxious and not good at all. You don't see any sign other than you can detect the centipedes crawling along the walls. You don't have any immediate sign of living creatures in the vicinity. You guys hear some noise coming from a pathway that's up and to the right. You also, up and to the left, can see a sealed door in the wall. And that's about what you've got.
Alright, I will check the door on the left.
I shall cover him. I shall also turn the light off so to get a bit of surprising if I can. If there's anything behind the door.
Okay, you
I
guys.
will go to the opposite side of the door with my
Okay.
shotgun ready.
The
I
metal
shall
door
examine
is
the door.
shut tight, and it's going to require a strength test to open it.
I signal to the party who thinks they've got it in them to open this door, and I clearly don't look at Jake.
I shall attempt to open this door, but before I do that, a quick prayer to the Emperor. O Almighty Emperor on earth and Holy Terror, Give me the strength to open this door, the bane of our existence. The throne, take it, we shall open the door. I shall roll
Clearly
my
getting
strength
himself all worked up, his adrenaline pumping a little bit. He's able to achieve good concentration as he approaches the door, negating any sort of penalty that might have been applied.
Clearly it didn't help.
And clearly he was pulling on a door that needed pushed.
Guys, are we really going to suffer this again from a door? Right. I'll run up and give the door a good boot then, since he's out of the way now.
Okay, strength test. You do have a -10 penalty on this.
Oh, God!
You run at the door and jump with a boot before you bounce off the door and land on your backside.
I
Thankfully,
look at Garro and Jake.
The big puddle of ooze that you landed in padded your fall, but you now stink to high heaven.
I look at Garro and
God's
Jake
sake.
and go, I think this failure makes up for my inability to jump. And then I look firmly at Jake and go, you smelly git.
Kim, are you going to try to open the door?
You
I
try
am
better.
I would like to push the door and
Okay.
then pull the door.
Strength test. What is your
And
strength?
30.
Not a problem.
He pushes on the door. He pulls on the door. Urgh. He almost thinks he's about to get it to budge, but alas, it doesn't.
It's a sliding
Just don't lay
open
down,
door,
Sol.
isn't it? I signal to my party that maybe this could be a sliding open door.
We'll try it
You
then.
hear
Hurry
wet.
up.
You hear wet noises coming from the tunnel that's across the corridor from you.
I spin round and point my rifle down it and turn the torch on.
I
I
turn and
signal
activate the
to Garro.
chainsaw.
You
I
don't
turn
see
to Garro
anything,
and-
but you can clearly hear wet noises of some gruesome sort coming from down that way.
I tell Garro to use his radar thing.
I
take
lie
out
down
the
and
auspex,
brace.
And I make a perception check on the auspex.
Whilst he does this, I ready my shotgun.
So you guys are approaching the entrance to the branch off of the corridor across the hall, across the way?
I'm lying
Yes.
down, bracing my rifle to get an aim. Sort
Okay.
of.
As
I
you
will
approach and pull out the allspecs, you see a macabre scene. A 2-meter wide corridor that extends for some distance ahead of you, with flickering light generated by the green lamps that support pillars, casting everything in that sickly glow. The floor is covered in blood, suggesting a great slaughter took place here. Chunks of flesh and glistening organs confirm your suspicion. Scattered here and there are sodden uniforms of guardsmen, some still clothing a piece of their owner's flesh. And ahead you hear the wet noises coming from a distance ahead.
I turn to the party and ready my shotgun. And just before I start to head towards the noises, I say to them, finally, we might be able to see some real action and not be beaten by a door.
From where I'm lying, can I see any cover before the
Uh-oh.
entrance of the room?
We've got to turn off our out of camera. We've got to turn off our cameras and back on, you guys. It just reached
Have
our
we?
limit. Yep.
Should we take a...
Ah, right, yeah. Turn cameras off and back on.
We're gonna have to restart the call.
Yeah, it's time for a break anyways, guys. That's a good place to stop. You guys are looking down into a corridor where you're hearing wet noises, and you found this macabre scene, and it is actually our hour break. So we apologize for the abrupt end to this part of the session. We're going to take another 5 or 10 minute break while we get ourselves resituated in a Skype call together, and we'll resume to continue the journey into this pit of